We're live.
Alright, we are live.
Di ko nga alam kung may makakaalala pa sa atin after the break.
It's been too long.
Way too long.
Yep. Somebody, we had 2 long weekends din kasi back to
Yeah.
backs.
Yun, si Bruce.
Hey
Makakaalala
Bruce,
pa sa atin.
hey, what's up? Julian,
what up, man?
hello.
You have not been here in weeks, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Mac, what's up,
Mac,
Mac?
what up, bro? Ready na ba kayo for...
Yeah.
What up, Glendale? Yeet.
Glendale, hello. So, yeah, first live stream for November.
Yep.
Sobrang bilis
Basta
ng 2023. Only 2 months left. Flew by so
Yeah,
fast.
it is what it
Yeah.
is.
Nearing my 1 year as when y'all made me an official ASH here. So sobrang bilis ng panahon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overtook even the original SH.
Hey,
Stan isn't here
um,
pala tonight.
yeah,
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
He's not doing any work, I think, pero he is.
No, I just saw an IG story from him. He is working film basket.
Okay,
as of
okay.
this moment. Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
he's,
So he's not here, guys.
Yep, he's in
Yeah.
Dasmariñas, Cavite, doing
Yep.
the film basket. Right. Okay. You can hear us.
Yeah. It's a question that's similar to what I was thinking of. Pero sige.
Oh.
Let's take Ina's question. Since tapos na ang Takutan Halloween, if you were a soul who could possess any wrestler, which wrestler would you want to possess?
Okay. It's like parang same siya sa if you can be someone for a day. Parang ganun yung vibe na ako dito. I want to be LA Knight. I guess.
Why?
Yeah, because
Glendale, sorry. Yeah, Glendale, yes. We'll promote.
Yeah.
We'll update you. We just found out nga rin na DST na. So stay tuned for the plug in a bit. We're having it also changed with our friends from Hobby Stadium. So yes, it will be 9 a.m. My answer to the question is whoever the guy is who is dating Sky Blue.
So Kyle Fletcher.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
see, he's not a bad wrestler. Kyle Fletcher, diba?
Yeah. It's a
Kyle
protege of Don Callis. As of right now. So Bruce says CM Punk. Okay. Joey Hulk Hogan, so that he can knock some sense into him.
Ina wants to be Darby Allin. Okay, sure.
Darby Allin. Yeah, they're devilish. Glendale wants to be Don Callis so he can beat the hell out of himself. And also says Vince McMahon. I mean, he is retired na din, so no need for that. No. Like TK has made it to a point that he's not going to be returning anytime soon to the creative team. So.
I don't know what he's gonna do now.
I think he's bored.
Bored.
I think he's bored. Imagine he's been doing this since he's like 30, 40 years old. So it does happen to a lot of people.
He's been doing it since he was 20.
Oh yeah, so that's even longer, diba? So says
Uncle Al. Yeah, says Vince. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's do a little bank fraud while we're at it. You're the banker, Emile. Illegal yan, diba?
Yeah, you can't do that. Mapaplug ka yun sa AMLA.
All right, that's it. Shut up now.
Who's ready for story time?
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Let me talk to him.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Adam!
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Run!
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles.
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the Czar, the NXT champion, and you're listening to...
And you're listening to...
And you're listening...
And you are listening...
And you're listening
to the Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
To the Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
You are now listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. That intro never gets old.
Yeah.
Palakpakan natin ulit si Babyface producer Jasper because that was really, really good. So, it's been a while since I heard it since we didn't do a live stream last week. But hello, it's your boy Ro and Emile, holding down the fort as we established kanina. Stan is out there. He's out there working the fill basket, and Chino is out watching the Marvels. So sana all. So Emile, how are you, man? On our first live stream back.
I am good, and I don't have any worries na I will have some technical difficulties since I'm back in Aga, and I have here my good gaming PC that will run well throughout the live stream. So I'm feeling good, just kakagaling lang sa sakit, but now I'm close to 100%. May sipon pa din ako, pero I'm back to, I think, 90% of myself, and ready for some wrestling talk here tonight on the live stream.
Ako nagkasakit ulit. I have a cold again after dealing with COVID last week and getting better from COVID last week. So it's a fucking mess. I think we should all just wear masks again, even though I don't like it. Wala tayong choice. There's a virus going around. There's a flu going around. It's also cold, so the cold is also going around. So please stay healthy, guys. It's a mess. It's not like we're kids again and we want to get sick so we can miss school, diba? So yun, it's really fucked up. But we have a whole bunch of wrestling to talk about tonight. Is everyone else lagging, or is it just Bruce? Because I'm seeing Emile is fine. Yeah, Emile is fine. I would hope I'm also fine.
Yes,
but we have some things to get out of the way first. Siyempre, we have two big pay-per-views, big events coming up, and we will be having parties for both of them. One is gonna be tawag dun, in person, and one is going to be on Discord because we don't have justified a reason to show AEW just yet. Babyface producer Jasper, let's show the first event. Yon, Survivor Series WarGames is happening on November 26th. That is a Sunday morning, Manila time. The time for the main show is now 9 a.m. as Glendale asked us in the pre-show. So daylight savings na. So show starts at 9. Kickoff starts at 8. You can get your pre-order tickets, early bird tickets for only 350 pesos, and if you choose to walk in sa Hobby Stadium, it's gonna be 500 pesos. So we're gonna be holding the event with our friends Hobby Stadium. Our good friends who have requested a Survivor Series watch party with us. They're really nice. We have a great relationship with them. Our partnerships so far have been really successful, and Hobby Stadium is a really great place to watch pay-per-views, PLEs, and syempre host quiz night. So you get a free iced tea when you come by and buy a ticket. So the early bird link is up on Facebook. We'll be sharing it again after this. So yun, sobrang sulit ng 350 kasi the walk-in tickets are 500. So big difference there. So if you want to catch the show with us live, I won't be there. Unfortunately, Sam will also not be there because he's working the show obviously from home. And Chino is tentative for now. So it will be your boys Emile and Rowan ASH. Emile will be manning the show for now. And Rowan will be helping him with the whole thing. So yun. Hobby Stadium, November 26th. That's a Sunday, 8 a.m. The doors will open, and the show will be at 9 a.m. Yun, tapos we have another party, but this one's going to be on Discord. Full Gear AEW
All
Full
right.
Gear. It's coming up next week. Na pala siya. You kind of creep. It kind of creeps up on you, but it is a thing. I asked our patrons if they wanted to do a Full Gear watch party online because it's going to be on Sunday, November 19th, and because it's a Sunday, you don't have to take a leave or you don't have to distract yourself from work on a Monday morning. We're going to be doing that. So uh, to be part of this watch party, all you got to do is subscribe to our Patreon, which Emile will tell you all about now, and all of the perks that are waiting for you.
All right, so just like Rose said, you can join in on our Full Gear Watch Party by subscribing to our Patreon and joining in on our Discord. It's at patreon.com/wrestling podcast for as low as $5 or 260 to 270 pesos locally. Again, you'll get to enjoy some benefits, of course, the Discord server where we will have the Full Gear Watch Party, and you can also interact with your fellow podcasts and talk to us about anything about wrestling. You can also talk to us about the most random things, sports, movies, shoes, fashion, anything and anything under the sun. Also, more benefits come your way when you subscribe to our Patreon. It's also the we have the Pasabais, which the next one we will do 2 weeks from now or a
Yes,
week
I don't know.
from now.
I'll talk
Yeah,
about it after you finish
yeah,
your spiel.
so we will Ro will tell more about that. But if you want to get some friendly rates on the service fees on our pasabais, you can do that by subscribing to our Patreon, and you also get some wrestling reviews, weekly wrestling reviews, courtesy of Ro and Rowan, like Raw, SmackDown, NXT Dynamite, Collision, and some local wrestling events as well. And again, when you subscribe to our Patreon, you're pretty much supporting everything that we do here on the pod. So again, it's at patreon.com/wrestling podcast for as low as $5.
All right, so Emile referenced yung big pasabay. It's gonna be Black Friday in a couple of weeks. So that is the biggest sale of the year, especially with our merch sites on online in the US, WWE Shop, Shop AEW,
Yep.
Pro Wrestling Tees, and a whole bunch of other sites that may wrestling merch. We'll buy anything from them as long as tatanggap yung card namin. So if you've been wanting some of that authentic, legit merch that our friends and ourselves have been rocking as well over the past couple of months, this is the time. This is it. We'll be opening the new batch on Monday, November 20th. That is 2 Mondays from now. So stay tuned. You don't have to pay just yet. We'll pay. You guys will have to pay when the orders arrive. Obviously, next month and after Christmas, siguro. So if you are fiending for some new merch, you know what to do. And stay tuned because it's gonna be a big one. You won't want to miss these deals because sobrang legit talaga yung Black Friday discounts. So, totoo yan. You can see as well how many people have been happy with our pasabay service because they got the legit merch that they finally wanted. All right, let's move on. Let's start wrestling talk. Babyface producer Jasper, let's go. Let's go get it. Surprise!
Oh my god.
CM Punk rumors are back at it again.
Oh.
We talked about this, the first thing nung nung last live stream natin, and 2 weeks later we are still fucking talking about CM Punk because Survivor Series is gonna be in Chicago in 2 weekends from now. Tapos eagle-eyed sleuths have been noticing that WWE.com has been updating its CM Punk pages over the past few days. Tapos they also uploaded a new CM Punk playlist on YouTube. So when the WWE has begun acknowledging CM Punk once more, then I don't think this is in doubt already. Yeah, Glendale, if you are a CM Punk fan, Hobby Stadium will explode. We'll see. We'll see the CM Punk fan pag pumunta sila sa Hobby Stadium. But I'm not happy about this, pero it is one of those things, inevitability when it was first rumored, kasi syempre, you're still leaving money on the table. But before I talk about my feelings, Emile, what do you think of this?
Man, I'm so desensitized with all CM Punk stuff already. So if it kung talagang mangyayari, they're fine. I have, but I still don't want it to happen. Kasi again, I already said my reasons too many times before. I'm not gonna repeat myself again, but if the WWE and CM Punk can come to an agreement, then and if Punk can promise himself that he's not gonna do something to stir things up like he did in AEW, then by all means, And it's one of those things na I'm not gonna believe it till I see it, because up until now I still don't think he's gonna be there.
To Janelle's point, who says that they also updated yung pages on WCW and Adam Rose. Yeah, I guess that's typical maintenance. But you have to remember that CM Punk was pretty much persona non grata in WWE. Like he was only probably like second to Chris Benoit. So the fact that they are talking about him again and parang rehashing or recycling all this material, they wrote this whole description for this whole write-up for CM Punk's alumni page niya. So it's one of those things that it points more to it happening than it doesn't, diba? Like, yeah, it would be nice if it doesn't happen, pero at this point, parang lock na siya. So yeah, I don't know about you guys watching this or listening to this, but I don't begrudge you for being a CM Punk fan, but I'm getting tired of this stuff. That it's getting mentally tiring to have to see your feed, your Facebook feed, your Twitter feed, your Threads feed, your Instagram feed, full of people who want CM Punk back, because apparently they don't really give a damn about how CM Punk is a toxic force in the locker room. I mean, who cares, right? You don't care. So you're not the ones working with him backstage. You're not the ones who have to deal with him backstage. So you don't care. And that. Makakabalik si CM Punk kung ibaba yung pride niya. Yeah, I think that's what he's doing. Ito yung ginagawa niya na he swallowed his entire pride. The whole thing about leaving WWE and walking out of it to come back and make money. So, time heals wounds, right? And you give them enough time, like they'll probably come back. Like, for me, like it's not impossibility that I'll go back to what is now FPW, diba? So I mean, those things are possibilities in our universe. So this is what's happening now, and the signs are pointing to it happening now. So yun, it's one of those things. Okay, I've stopped fighting it. So my only thing is I hope that one, the locker room is mature as they actually say it is. I think maybe we just don't know any stories of them being immature, but also maybe there is a strong locker room presence backstage. So I hope that that's the case. Second, I hope that management is getting him help, because I know he probably doesn't admit that he needs help, but he does need help, because look at his personality backstage. Right? Like, if there's a psych major listening to this, possibly our friend Anthony Coelho, can we psychoanalyze CM Punk here and see what's wrong with him? So I want to know. I like knowing about these things. So, Nick, the thing is, Punk's main problem back in the early 2010s was management. Diba? That's why he left, because he didn't like the management. And at the time, he also didn't like Triple H, even though his main problem was Vince McMahon. Diba? So I don't know what that's going to be like now. I don't know if he's going to, want to be civil with them now. I don't know if he wants to play ball with them now. Pero if not, if he's just really burying these feelings under money, the piles of money that he'll be making with WWE, then inevitably magkakaroon na naman ng aberya, magkakaroon na naman ng explosion from Punk, because he can't regulate himself. Yeah, so it is what it is. At this point, it's like the Rampage premiere sa Chicago. At this point, you might have to accept the possibility that it's happening, and if it doesn't happen, hindi okay. Happy tayo. Pero I think you gotta lock it in at this point. Emile, you got anything else to say about this?
I think yung aberya na sinasabi mo, it's a matter of when, not if. Because it will happen.
That's what I like to say.
He's a time bomb. He's a thinking time bomb. It will happen. It's just a matter of kailan siya mangyayari. If it happens a year into, then that's a bad look for him. And
I would like to say that if it does happen again, or when it does happen again, like, he's gonna be clown emoji. Pero he's also pretty safe, because he has legions of fans chanting his name. Like, you even heard it in Saudi Arabia. So It's like Duterte, diba? Again, we're going back
Oh
to
my.
Duterte. So, kahit maraming, even if he clown emojis himself after blowing up for the nth time, after nun sa kapupulutin, diba? Sa Impact ba or sa NWA, sa kapupulutin. It doesn't matter to him because he's never going to be canceled in the wrestling industry because there will be a cult of personality
Yeah.
rallying around him and always, manifesting for him to come back. So that is the sad truth about CM Punk in our industry today. All
Pero you
right.
know what?
Sorry.
What's a good thing about kung bumalik nga siya? We won't have to talk about him every week if that
Yeah.
happens. Kasi,
Well, it brings a
because
rating. So
yeah.
you guys want to hear what we think about Punk. You guys want to talk about CM Punk every week. I know you guys do. Even whether you hate him or you love him, you guys want to talk about it every week. Diba? So it is good for us, good for business, good for the podcast business. All right, babyface producer Jasper. Let's move on. Crown Jewel. So maraming feelings about all of this. We'll be getting into this a little extensively. So as you all know by now, and as probably most of you have predicted, Roman Reigns has retained the Uwu Championship over LA Knight, and he, as predicted, he does it with interference from, well, this time Jimmy Uso. So Emile, you got feelings? Let's lay them out.
Yeah, sobrang bad trip ako with this one. Again, last time I didn't really watch this live. I was on the trip, going back to Naga, and you know what the worst thing about all of this is, no one cares on no, at least on my timeline na, kasi naka for you din ako, so it's the trends, right? No one really cared about the ending of this match. No one cared that Roman won. Yung nakita ko sa timeline ko was Kyrie and that Logan Paul clip that we talked about the pick of the week.
Good
But no one
God.
really,
Please listen to that and pick of the week. If you want to hear me rant, please listen to
yeah,
that.
like no one cared about Roman winning, and it's a far contrast to nung WrestleMania when it was still interesting when that was the height of all of Roman's title reign. Now people were mad. People were mad that Roman won, but this one, like, no one cared. It's and maybe because at the start of this feud, balang, we all know, okay, Roman is not gonna lose this. Like, as much as LA Knight has shined throughout the match, shined throughout the whole thing, at the end of the day, no one was expecting LA Knight to win the match. And now I'm getting to the match itself, right? I also didn't like how Roman won and kailangan pa yun ng interferences. LA Knight should have lost cleanly because it's weird na you had guys like Cena acknowledging Roman Reigns in promos na, oh, you're the one of the greatest of all time, you're the greatest champion of all time, and then kailangan pa niya ng rest back para talunin lang sa LA Knight. No offense to LA Knight, but this is his first main event. Like in kayfabe, he should be an inexperienced main eventer, and hindi and dapat if Roman is the champion that he says he is, he should have beaten LA Knight very easily, very cleanly. So yun pa isang problem ko dito. And yun na nga, no, at least if he's gonna be a dominant champ, he's at least at some title defenses, he should have won, he should win those matches clean. Hindi lahat kailangan ng bloodline interferences because it will get stale. And yun na nga yung nangyari. The bloodline thing, it's getting stale at this point. It says, parang we're just waiting. We're just waiting until WrestleMania where the eventual Cody win will happen. So, yun lang naman. Like, I'm so sick of this title reign at this point. I in hindsight, the more as we go on here, the more I think that maybe Roman should have lost the title at WrestleMania. Kasi they could have done all this bloodline story without the title naman eh. Like the whole Jimmy, the whole Jay thing. They could have done it. Like, I've been thinking about this even way before WrestleMania. Now, okay, I'm gonna accept it if Roman loses here, and at least may story pa siya heading in towards the next year with the whole bloodline dissolution. Na hindi nila kailangan ng championship. So again, I'm sick. I'm sick of this title reign. I like Roman, but I'm sick of this title reign. I'm sick of how he's being booked in every match that he has na parang champ siya eh. Kasi kailangan niya pa talaga si Jimmy Uso para talunin lang si LA Knight. LA Knight? I'm a big fan of LA Knight, pero when compare it to Roman, dapat easy lang siya kay Roman Reigns eh. So man, I was sick last Sunday. That's why if you noticed, I went on this little Twitter rant. I'm basically tweeting whatever it is I'm saying right now. So may pag-asa pa ba na may pag-asa pa ba tong title reign na to? I don't know. I guess we'll just wait until he comes back again. And when's that? Royal Rumble. So 3 months away pa. So again, the longer the title reign goes, the longer I really thought na he should have lost the title at Mania to Cody. Just to get it over with. Kasi kung yun lang din naman yung goal to have Cody win over Roman, then you should have pulled the trigger right there and there. Instead of papabayin pa, and we're at this point where a lot of people are already sick and tired of this title reign. Sorry for the long rant.
Let's give it up for Emile, who done another rant. You won't hear that from a lot of people. Okay, so a lot of things to unpack here. So is Lance still here in the chat watching? Kasi this whole thing is pretty much vindicated and justified his whole disdain with the whole bloodline operation. So I was listening to the Masked Man show talking about this. So Dave Shoemaker was talking about how at this point nobody in authority is stopping the whole bloodline scam. Diba? Parang Nick Aldis is your new general manager. He showed himself to put his foot down, diba? And then he's still not stopping this whole thing. Diba? The thing about the Roman Reigns championship reign is that, yes, obviously they made a promise to Cody Rhodes na siya yung mananalo at WrestleMania 40, right? Let's give the big win at the number 40. So anything that happens between then and now, it's gonna be to protect that story. So this is the pitfalls of a long-term story, and that's not to say that long-term storytelling is bad. It's just more of you need to be able to fill yung gitna with something compelling. So the thing with the long reign is that it was good when the stories were good. So when we had Sami Zayn getting kicked out of the bloodline, when we had Jimmy Uso getting kicked out of the bloodline, when we had the Usos getting kicked out of the bloodline, those stories were great and we were all in. And now we got to this. One, Jimmy goes back to the bloodline and they still haven't explained that. And then you got into a feud with LA Knight without much reason, tapos without much substance, kasi LA Knight was just really throwing out sick burns about suffering succotash, but they didn't really explore how, they touched on it a little bit when Roman said, wala ka namang credibility here, you haven't won a championship match, you've never been in a world championship match yet, diba? They didn't really give us a good story the way they gave us with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and the Uso. So that is what I think is missing here. Because if we got yung cinema moments that we were only just talking about, like what, a few months ago, half a year ago, if we got those, then we wouldn't be minding how Roman keeps retaining every time. Diba? Yes, you're right in that they do need to switch up the way they finish the story. I mean, they finish the match, rather. You're right that there wasn't any need for Jimmy to interfere and help Roman win. Roman still does deserve to be a dominant champion who wins clean because he is the final boss against someone who is what? Only just stepping up to the main event plate just now, diba? Yeah, so that's the problem here. People have been saying, I think WWE has been saying, or someone from the company has been saying that they have done what they set out to do with Roman Reigns, which is to get him hated. But I think that the old heads are also not aware that there is a difference between hating a character because he's a heel and because he does despicable things, and hating what a company does with this wrestler. So, nung una, we were still at the first point. We were still at the first camp. And then now, we're now here at the second camp because we're now hating what WWE is doing with Roman Reigns, and that's not because of the character, because the character is pretty awesome, and it's pretty hateable as well, depending on how you see things. About it's just that you do need to dissociate yourself from the old school heat is heat thinking. Sometimes I was I was a victim of that as well, because it's so easy to rely on, because as long as you get reactions about it, it's all right. You think you're doing your job, diba? So it's pretty sad. Buti na lang we're what, 5 months away or 6 months away. Oh my god, that doesn't sound short. That doesn't sound short at all. You're right. I think I was still right. You should have put your championship on a big money maker like LA Knight. Kahit sandali lang, like what happened with Edge. Edge was champion for 3 weeks in his first reign. So
Edge was the parang siya yung pinaka prominent na transitional champion na nakita ko.
Yeah. So yun, it is really bad when you are super old school that you stick to your long-term storytelling. Because there are times, and this is one of those times, na you should be adapting to how your audience reacts. Because it's ironic, kasi the advice the most prominent advice I've ever gotten from veteran wrestlers is to adapt to your crowd. And then the funny thing is Triple H, who is a wrestler, is not adapting to his crowd. Diba? So Paul Heyman, who is a legendary booker, is not adapting to his crowd. So, it's really bad. And that's why a lot of people have been turning against this. So I don't know what else they can do other than to change up the way they're doing things. I think it's also a problem when you don't pay attention to the chatter online. Because if you're too high and mighty, like, I don't care what the fans think, they're stupid. Well, some of them are, pero you do still have to get their pulse, because they are who are spending their money to watch your product, diba? So even if you don't agree with them, you still have to cater to them, because there might be a time, if you don't, they will stop buying your shows, or they will stop subscribing to your network or your Peacock, diba? Glendale, wouldn't it be a useless reign if LA Knight wins and babalik Roman? No, the whole thing about a championship reign is because you want the moment of a championship win. That's the more important thing. Because in the psychology of it is that you achieved the thing, and it doesn't matter if you get to keep it, but there was this one moment that you were good enough to achieve the championship win. So I don't know if you really thought that LA Knight would be, long championship material just yet. But I mean, you can tell the story in a whole bunch of ways, right? LA Knight's still inexperienced. He still doesn't know how to play the game the way main eventers do, and all that stuff. So there's a lot of ways to spin it, and I think people just really wanted something different. And the problem is we got the same thing. So
yung most prominent example nung sinabi mo is Mankind, Mick Foley, his first ever championship win. Pero like not a lot of people can remember that reign only lasted how many weeks, pero they remember that moment where he won the championship. And that's what you were saying, Rode. People want that moment.
Yep. Because they wanted something new. Roman Reigns is nice, but we don't like things to stay the way they are after 3 years. You broke the record. Like, I don't think, like, if we're going for the Bruno record, then that's really overkill. All right. Anything else you got to say about this, Emile? May feelings ka ba na ilalabas?
Nalabas ko na lahat. So, yung frustrations ko with this. And it's a good thing he's going to be gone until the Royal Rumble, so we won't really have to talk about this god-awful title reign until then.
So yeah, but people are still going to take issue with it because he's not defending it. So that means he's still champion until whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get to the other end still, let's hear from our fellow podcasts on the Pod Network. right, we're back. We have another championship retention. So let's put that up, Jasper. Okay, Seth Rollins retained the World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre. And we talked about this extensively in the Picks of the Week when Emile picked this match. But even though the match was good, the outcome is not so much good. So, Emile, you have feelings about this as well.
Yeah, na-realize ko lang to last night after watching the main event of Raw. And at that point na, why are they still telling the narrative of the bad back when Seth doesn't really wrestle like he's a bad back and he wins every single time? Going back to when they introduced this narrative nung Nakamura feud. Nangyayari siya every time. It's always clean and it's not one of those fluky wins that we saw with Orange Cassidy at the end of his title reign. Na they told that story well where like he's every after title defense you could see na he's just winning barely, but with this one may narrative dito na Seth has a bad back and people are targeting it. Pero when we always watch the matches, if you watch the match without any other context, you wouldn't even know that there's actually a story with there's the story surrounding the match na he's a bad back, So I noticed this talaga nung Crown Jewel and nung Raw, and that's when there's this glass breaking moment for me na why are they still going with this bad back story where they're not even telling it in the matches, and you can't even see it in Seth's way when he's wrestling na he has a bad back, except for the tape na nakikita natin sa likod. Aside from that, wala. And ganun din. Umabot na din ako sa point na I'm getting tired of this title reign as well, and they should stop with the bad back narrative and just introduce something new, I guess, or maybe switch it up and maybe have a new champion.
Okay, to be fair, to your point about him not having fluky wins, the win over Sami Zayn,
that was a fluky one.
Nung Raw, pretty good. It was clean and it was also a fluky win. So that it was more along my jam. So the thing about this is that I don't know whose fault is it. I don't know if nobody's telling him to sell, which he's not a bad wrestler. He's an elite wrestler here, so he knows that he should sell. So why is Seth Rollins not selling the back? Why doesn't each back shot kill him a little bit more? I feel like somebody is not workshopping him on how to do this bad backstory. Kaya hindi natin nahalata na injured yung likod niya. Diba? The whole Orange Cassidy thing was a little better. He was still kind of superhuman, but he was still able to sell the effects of it whenever he wasn't wrestling. So I like that more, and I hope that the way they finished the match versus Sami, patutuloy nila with other Seth matches, diba? Probably in WarGames, like fucking kill him in WarGames, diba? Diba?
Yeah, true.
So yun lang. I am still kind of checked out of the Seth Championship reign, especially after this, because they're not doing anything with it and they're not doing it right. So I don't know. I think the Raw thing gave me a little bit more hope, pero because the next feud isn't really for the championship, I don't think they're gonna sell it even more. So Delix yan.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about this? I feel bad for Drew, as always.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be, like I didn't think he was gonna win, but I thought he was gonna turn heel at some point throughout the match, and eventually at some point he's gonna. I mean, I still think he's gonna be the eventual champion, pero they could have done something nung Crown Jewel. And again, like you said, you just wrestled a straight up match.
Yeah. Wala, sayang. I mean, I hope this gets better, but sige, let's move on to the next point from Crown Jewel. Jasper. Yun. Kyrie Sane is back. We talked about this on Picks of the Week. The crowd reaction was dreadful. I don't know if it's because Saudi crowd doesn't really like women. I don't know. But it was bad, and they were pretty quiet, and it was embarrassing for everyone involved. But Yun, she helped Io retain, although not. It doesn't quite make it obvious that she is aligned with damage control as a whole. So a lot of doubt here. And I think they are gonna be breaking away and reforming whatever faction they had before. What do you think, Emile?
Yeah, that's what I took away from this from when it happened is that now we're like yung dissolution or at least breaking away ni Io with the damage control is now ongoing, and this is this is very very interesting development. Of course, with the return of Kyrie, and she is she's good with Io, pero with Bailey, di bata na lang. Like she didn't really di niya inacknowledge si Bailey when nung post match. It was more of she is acknowledging Io rather than acknowledging the damage control as a group. So that's gonna be an interesting story down the line, and I really think since may war games, I think there are always two war games. I think at this point there's still gonna be an alliance, a weird alliance, and then it's gonna be slowly, we're gonna slowly see the dissension between Kyrie, Io, and Bailey and Dakota at some point. So this is definitely gonna be an interesting narrative to watch out. And I read some rumors as well. I read some reports, not reports, rumors or something. Uh, Triple H is still trying to get another
Yeah.
wrestler to pair up with Kyrie
Yep.
and Io. So we don't know if that someone is already on the roster or someone
No,
is a free agent. Is that a free agent?
the
Or,
rumor is they're going after Julia
oh,
from
Julia. Okay,
Stardom and
that's
NJPW. So yun
so
yung
that's
rumor. We don't know
that's
much about
so
it
yep,
just yet. Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of
So
Joshis, saying
yep.
hey to our friend Troy
Hey,
Gonzalez of
Troy.
Joshi Journals. Please congratulate the guy. He's got a new
Yeah.
writing gig covering Joshi wrestling. So congrats,
Congrats, Troy.
Troy. Thank you for hopping in as well. Bruce, Triple H
She's
wanted to
signed.
get Saray, but she
Yeah.
signed with Sukeban
Yep.
Wrestling, which is, I believe, a US based Joshi promotion. I could be wrong if about that US basis. Pero basta she signed with someone else kasi I guess na trauma siya with her NXT 2.0 experience. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yun, I think I agree with you. I think she's gonna take Io with her. Tapos Bailey will take Dakota with her in the breakup, in the divorce.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right. Jasper, let's move on to Raw. War Games.
War games.
Yeah. Adam Pierce has made it official, so it's not going to be a Raw versus SmackDown thing like I predicted because people like to jump to conclusions. So it's going to be, as we expected, Judgment Day, including JD versus the babyface team on Raw. I don't know what they're called. So Sammy, Cody, Jay, and Seth, I believe.
Yep.
Tama si Seth, diba?
Yes, you said.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so this is it. This is the War Games feud. Is it the feud you were looking for?
I mean, months pa lang, like 3 months ago, I can already see na dito pupunta eh. Like when they established the main narrative on Raw, which is Judgment Day versus Cody and Sammy in general, I thought dito din papunta to eh. And this is gonna be the blow off. And you know, parang naging stale siya for a while because sa hinaba-haba na ng feud na to, syempre nagkaroon ng point where I grew tired of the Judgment Day and the babyfaces always main eventing Raw. So at least andito tayo sa exciting part. Andito tayo sa ending where I wish after this Judgment Day can dito na mangyari yung breakup ng Judgment Day because I feel like they've been
Yeah,
holding off
they are,
on
yeah.
this for a long time, and I feel like this is gonna be that point where it finally happens.
I don't think they're breaking up. I just think Damien's leaving the group. That's
Yeah,
why they
may
That's why they
mangyayari.
brought in JD. Yeah, diba? So yeah, I agree with this. Obviously, very obviously, they were leading up to War Games. Kasi obviously, as Sammy referred to on Raw, the Judgment Day is Bloodline 2.0. So because you have another heel faction na malaki, you're obviously doing War Games. So the question to you now is, did this need War Games? Because I think I miss the traditional Survivor Series matches.
Yeah, honestly, they could have done the normal Survivor Series match this year. Kasi parehas lang din naman eh. It involves teams. You don't need to do war games every year. Kasi, like, we have always said on the show na we don't really like yung mga themed na gimmick na mga
Yeah.
PLEs where, like,
Yeah.
porket Hell in a Cell this month, kailangan mag Hell in a Cell tayo, ganon. So,
Yeah.
so parang they're doing it now with War Games, and I don't like it kasi I thought we have moved away from the gimmick matches every year. Like we will always we will just bring, for example, Hell in a Cell when it is needed. So I'm gonna say the same thing here with War Games. I feel like kailangan lang yung War Games pag talagang may two established teams na talagang they can't settle it anywhere else but in the War Games. But here, it's just pwede na yung Survivor Series eh. Kasi Survivor Series, the appeal of it is you see guys who doesn't really team up together, and then, that's the tradition of the Survivor Series. So they could have went with that. They could have went with tradition this year instead of War Games.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss traditional Survivor Series matches. And those are actually gimmick matches as well that are themed for the pay-per-view. All right, Janelle, they did Cody dirty with the Stardust looking poster. This is actually a reference to a segment that Dusty Rhodes did back in the day. He painted himself in war paint. He was cosplaying, I believe, Walter Kurtz from Apocalypse Now. So you can look that up on the internet. That's why they did the whole war paint thing with Cody as well. If you can, it does look like Stardust, but at the same time, it's obviously not Stardust. Like that's not Stardust at all. That's obviously camouflage paint. So yeah, that's a little thing that I think they did not explain just yet. Yeah. All right. Before we get to break, let's talk about NXT really quickly. They have a new 5-year deal on the CW.
Yep.
Doesn't matter that much to us because we watch NXT either on the high seas or on the WWE network. But good for them that they found a new home, and I think that this is good that they are being treated as as a separate entity that deserves a new home. Not bundled with SmackDown or Raw. So it's good that they were able to get that. I don't know yet if we're gonna get a new Raw channel network. I think that we will, but I'm not sure if we're gonna get a new time slot for it because SmackDown is moving to USA. NWA was supposed to be there, but they were not happy with the segment in their Samhain pay-per-view where Reverend James Mitchell was very clearly snorting cocaine with girls
Oh man.
on a table. So one would think, with TV shows being open about drug use, that they would be okay with that.
They screwed themselves out of that deal, honestly.
No, I mean, to be fair, I didn't think then it would be a big deal with a cable network. Although I guess they're not an edgy cable network. The CW is the home for the Arrowverse. So.
Well, I think this. If I'm not mistaken, the CW is having this. Parang nagre-rebrand sila into more, I guess, family-friendly programming. That's why
I guess, yeah.
Having drugs on your pay-per-view doesn't bode well for your chances of getting a TV deal. So
5 years pa, yeah.
5 years. So I think they gained more by having NXT air on their network rather than NWA kasi syempre it's a WWE product.
Yeah, I mean, nobody watches it. Nobody watches the NWA.
More eyes is gonna be on it, and plus, in the past year, NXT has been. I think the NXT has been the best TV program in the whole company. Say that's the one I've been watching every week rather than Raw and SmackDown. So
Yeah.
it's a good deal for both sides. I mean, WWE gets to air NXT in a much bigger platform, and CW gets a great program here in NXT.
Right. Right. Okay. Before we get to AEW, let's take another quick break, our last one, and hear from our fellow podcasts on the Pod Network. Okay, before we get to AW, let's answer this question from Bruce. There are 2 rings because of WarGames on the PLE. Are they going to have the 2 rings the whole time? Or are they going to assemble another ring when it's time for the WarGames matches? Bruce, you kind of exposed yourself as not watching any of the WarGames show and the Blood and Guts shows from AEW. So if you saw them, you would know that the 2 rings are going to be there the whole time. And they will do the match on 1 ring, except for the Rampage Rumble, where they do the Rumble from both rings. So yeah, that's the answer. All right, let's move to AEW. Jasper. First, what happened today? Samoa Joe vacates the ROH TV Championship. Vacant has a new championship once more. So he says he did this because he wanted to go after the World Heavyweight Championship in AEW. Okay, these things really bother me because why do you need to vacate your own championship to go for another championship? Like, that's not a thing that happens. Oh, I mean, in kayfabe, being a champion means you get paid more because you are the champion.
Yeah.
So are you telling me that you are giving up that part of the bag for chasing something you might never win? So, gets ko naman yung sinabi ni Samoa Joe that, he's been carrying it on his back and he wants to focus on the thing instead of trying to distract himself with other matches. Yeah, gets ko naman you do run the risk of injury by doing these 2 things at once. Pero, I don't know. I like being champion. It's nice. What do you think of this, Emile?
Yeah, pero when you analyze Joe's character, parang in character din sa kanya to do something like this. Like, he's so confident in himself na if he focuses on the AEW World Championship, na he's gonna get it. Now he's willing to vacate this another championship that probably brings him money. So that's very badass. That's very Samoa Joe like. So it's on brand then, even though it's kind of confusing. It's kind of confusing. It could have been double champ. I mean, look at MJF. He's the AEW World Champion, and he's also the ROH World Tag Team Champion. 1/2 of the World Tag Team Champion. So, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with this one, and it's on branding kasi with Samoa Joe's character.
Yeah,
So
I just don't like it as a wrestler.
yeah.
All right. Albert says he loves the idea from that promotion who can use a mid-card championship to get a ticket to a championship,
like
a world championship
TNA.
match. Pretty much Impact Wrestling, where
option
the
C.
X Division, the X Division champion gets to cash in option C, or in Lucha Underground, the Gift of the Gods championship. The Gift of the Gods champion can cash in the belt for a world title match, Lucha Underground championship match. Yun. Okay, this segues us to the next point. Jump scare warning, by the way. Jump scare warning. Jasper. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Jump scare warning. No naman, Janelle. I don't think he said that the TV championship was worthless. That's not what he said. He just said that he wanted to go for the biggest goal, and that was going to distract him from going after it. Because, he had a match versus Keith Lee, and that could have injured him, diba? He needs to keep having matches with other people for the championship, and if you do that, then you don't really pour in time to go after the world championship. Anyway, this is the end of the episode of Dynamite today. The Acclaimed got beaten up by the Devil's henchmen because the story now is the Devil and his henchmen, his hench devils, are beating up and attacking yung mga friends ni MJF. So they did that for Adam. Oh wait, no, Jay White was not a friend of MJF.
No.
Now they're doing that for the Acclaim. So the Dibel is pretty much a chaotic force in AEW, and then there was a part where Samoa Joe shows up at the end after the attack and pretty much makes fun of or taunts MJF. So at this point, CM Punk is obviously not going to be the Devil unless there is a major stroke of another. So who is it going to be? Kenneth here has ideas. He thinks it's Adam Cole, or he thinks it's Jack Perry. Glendale thinks it's Roddy in the Kingdom. I think Roddy is the easiest answer here. I don't think Adam is the guy doing it because Adam is, again, legitimately injured. And since they're ramping up the Devil storyline, it means that they're going to reveal who it is soon. Diba? And because Adam Cole can't be back in time for this big reveal, then it really can't be him. Some people are saying Samoa Joe because Samoa Joe is tied a little bit into MJF. So we don't know. Who do you think? I mean, who is your guess? My guess is, I guess, Roddy Strong.
My guess is Jungle Jack Perry. That's my guess. Because he's been away for a long time, and and when they first appeared, that's one of the first names na pumasok sa isip ko. Maybe it's Jack Perry. Like, this is a new gimmick, a new way to introduce him. parang a fresh
Tapos na ba suspension niya?
I've read some reports na his suspension is pretty much over. It's just that they don't want him to appear on TV because he's gonna evoke the emotions from the crowd. I mean, they're gonna chant CM Punk.
CM Punk.
So yeah, so parang
that sucks.
Yeah, I know. Pero yung gimmick niya kasi something just didn't click when this gimmick when he turned heel.
It was bad.
Like it was bad. Like that theme song. What the hell is that? So
it's Beethoven's Fifth. What the hell? What are you talking about? What the hell is that?
Do you not know the most?
Do you not know the most famous classical piece ever?
Yeah, I know it's classical, but it doesn't really fit him. Like I don't get it. I didn't get it, and it didn't work. So maybe this is a fresh take on a fresh gimmick for Jack Perry, and and in a way then kasi kontrapelo din sila ni MJF ever since. So maybe that's why this is him, I guess. That's my pick so far is Jack Perry. For the others, I think it's probably gonna be a tag team in there. And
from
probably
from ROH. For ROH.
Yeah, probably Wardlow. Wardlow's one. I think one of them is Wardlow.
It's the Outrunners. All right. So yeah. Now I guess we'll find out at Full Gear. So they've been building up the story. They've been doing a good job of building up a whole bunch of stories. AEW has been on a tear lately when it comes to storytelling, and I would dare say that right now it's probably gonna be a hot take, but the storytelling on AEW is a lot better right now from WWE. Like, yes, may bad habits, but see Tony Khan, like he's still going on Twitter rampages, but the story has been on point, and I don't know if that's him because I don't want to believe that's him, but it is pretty substantial. And I'm gonna get to this next point. We don't have it here in the slide, but on this episode of Dynamite, Orange Cassidy explained why he has been a little more angas, a little more edgelordy. It's because that he was not able to get over his loss to Jon Moxley, his championship loss to Jon Moxley. So he explained everything. He explained na yung pa rin iniisip niya. He explained that he didn't feel accomplished by beating Rey Fenix for the championship, and he wants to parang bring closure to his feelings by beating Jon Moxley at Full Gear. So that was pretty cool. They obviously put in some thought on how they wanted to evolve Orange Cassidy's character. I gets ko na kung bakit may pakialam na siya Kasi before, he would care, and then it didn't compute why this guy who supposedly doesn't care is now caring. So, character development, yay. Did you see that, Emile?
No, di ko pa nakita. Pero like
Okay, no problem.
from your explanation, like I'm happy that we're getting now we at least we got a some character development here with Orange Cassidy, because like at the start of this at the start parang yung character ni dati na yung 'di ba pag when challengers are coming up to him, and we just like, okay, parang wala siyang pake na even though kahit ilan yung kalaban niya, parang wala siyang pake. So, parang yung feeling, yung before, na he doesn't really care about the title, But now, because he lost to John Moxley, and parang he couldn't get that out of his head. Now, once that happened, once you lost that title, it's gonna hit you like a shock. And I'm happy that they're doing this story instead of him winning again. This is gonna be, another reign for him. They didn't even go back to that story. So I'm glad they're going that route. And
Yeah.
it's gonna make for another amazing match between these two down the line.
Yeah, I'm kind of all in with this new run. Kasi nung una, when Orange Cassidy won again, I wasn't, buying it kasi should have been someone else. But this is nice. It's a nice turn, if you will. And it proves that people do actually get character development in AEW. So if you were looking for that from the Bloodline, you find it here in Dynamite. So that's pretty cool. Sayang lang that not a lot of people are appreciating that as much as they do for WWE. So, a lot of people complain about WWE, but, they don't watch AEW for whatever reason. So, sayang lang. Right, that is it for our wrestling talk. At this point, parang wala na tayong bonus episode for this weekend because we talked about everything we wanted to talk about for this week. We got to squeeze it in. So before we go, Emile, you got any plugs you want to get out?
Wala naman. Just follow me on all my socials if you want to see my Twitter friends. Sometimes you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all of them at Emile_Meister. So just follow me on my socials.
Yeah, tawag nun. Please watch MWF Action Novela TV on Rock of Manila every Monday, and the replay is, I believe, every Thursday. So new episodes drop on Mondays. If you want to watch these new episodes in advance, you can also subscribe to Gank. Just go to manilawrestling.com and sign up for around $10 or around $600. They accept GCash, debit card, credit card, PayPal. Tapos, please follow me as well on Instagram, shang.daddy, TikTok, shang.daddy, and my new Facebook page. I resurrected my Facebook page after 3 years of not having one. It's Romeo, but with spaces in the middle. So you might see me commenting on MWF posts. So yeah, and if you happen to come across it, please like it. I would love to get my old following back. Yeah. Please go to the watch party, whether it's Full Gear next week on Discord. Please sign up patreon.com/wrestling podcast or sa Hobby Stadium. The link, once again, is on our Facebook page. We'll share it again after this, or you can come by, walk in. Mas mahal lang nga ng konti, pero you still get the same experience. So November 26th, 8 a.m., and the show is at 9 a.m. So please come by and, hang out with us. Let's vibe to Survivor Series and WarGames. And, let's see if we will be collectively disappointed by CM Punk showing up. Yeah. This has been another episode of the Wrestling Podcast. Please follow our co-hosts as well. @_Stancy, @Chino Supersize, @Monday Night Rowan. That's NITE. @Wrestling2X Pod on Twitter. Twitter and TikTok, @Wrestling Podcast on Instagram and Threads, the Wrestling Podcast on Facebook. But if you're watching this, you already knew that. And thank you once again to the good boys and girls, the babyface producer. Oi, why the jump scare again? Jasper? You trying to give someone a heart attack? Damn. Pinapasalamatan na kita. Pinapasalamatan na kita. Trying to give people a heart attack here. Thank you to the babyface producer Jasper, who's manning the show behind the scenes, babyface manager Riza, and all of the good boys and girls, our bosses as well on the Pod Network, who help us get the show to you, your weekly dose of wrestling talk. And it's great that we have to get to have fun like this every week and process all our feelings. So again, this has been another episode of the Wrestling Podcast. Until next time, we'll see you on Tuesday for another Picks of the Week episode. For my co-hosts who are absent and for Emile Nate, I am Romaran. This has been this week's live stream. Be safe, stay healthy, stay warm, mask up if you have to, and get your rest, please. Get your sleep. Drink your water, all of that good stuff. Be nice. Don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast out. Peace.